Hi, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Rachel and I knit and make in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And you can find me here on YouTube at Chapel Hill Maker and on Instagram and Ravelry under the same name. Things may seem a little bit dark today. I'm having a hard time getting the lighting going, and I sort of opted for dark over ring lights in my glasses. So let me know in the comments if this is too dark for you, if you can't see things, but we're gonna go with it today and see what happens. So this episode is going to be my Rhinebeck recap. And I'll be honest, I sort of hesitated to do one because before I used to go to Rhinebeck, this is my second time, I would kind of skip over some of the Rhinebeck recap episodes because I had such intense FOMO that it was hard for me to watch. I don't know what that says about me, but I did have a number of people ask for one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the recap. It was a magical weekend for so many reasons, and I'll talk about it. But if it's not for you, I'll, if I can figure it out, I'll put the time stamp of when I get to my sort of regular episode type stuff. Although I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be pretty heavy on Rhinebeck and acquisitions and sort of light on projects because I haven't had a ton of knitting time. So so here goes. Once again, I just wanted to thank you all for being here. I've had just the absolute nicest comments, and it has been so encouraging and so much fun to interact with people that I would never otherwise have an opportunity to know. And you guys are just the nicest, so thank you so much. You might hear Mary Poppins in the background. She's chewing on a toy, and hopefully she won't get bored while I'm talking, although she does tend to get bored about knitting content. So, and again, you might hear Sawyer downstairs barking at something, a leaf, a mailman, a UPS guy, nothing. So I'm sorry about that in advance, but as you can see out here, our leaves are starting to change here in Chapel Hill, and fall is starting to sort of let us know it's coming. It's chilly in the morning and then getting nice and warm during the day. But to that end, I'm still able to wear short sleeves, and you may notice my finished poppy tee that I made in Cardiff Cashmere. And I am kind of obsessed with this. Look at the shoulder here. And I wasn't gonna do the fold over neckline, and I'm so happy that I did. I love how it looks, and the fit of this is just perfect, chef's kiss. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the Rhinebeck gushing, and if I'm disorganized, it's because it was like drinking out of a fire hose for 4 days. We traveled up to New York on Thursday, and I went with my knitting group from here, and you can see in my stories sort of some of our shenanigans that we got up to. There is something to be said about just sort of spending that time with your friends and catching up and not having to go home after an hour or two of visiting at a coffee shop together. So we really had a good time. The weather, you've probably seen pictures. I feel like guilty almost for how beautiful it was. The fall colors, and the temperature was perfect for wearing a sweater, and for, I dressed in layers. It got a little warm in the afternoon, but it was so much fun to be able to show off our knits. And I will tell you, our Knit Purl Repeat sweater was a hit. We just got to talk to so many more people because they were interested in our sweaters, and I'll put a picture in here of our group, and it was the best. So we went on Friday. We got in on Thursday. My friends had gotten in the night before, and are you kidding me? My lights just turned off. I'm gonna have to pause it and fix it. Okay, back at it now. So we came in, two of my housemates got there on Wednesday and two of us arrived on Thursday, and we arrived we got spoiled because our friends had dinner waiting for us, but we did leave the city. We flew into LaGuardia Airport and drove up to, our place was in Kingston. And so we did stop at Pick Up Every Stitch in Mount Kisco, New York for their Road to Rhinebeck event. And that was really fun to run into some people there. We saw Kevin and Ray from Needles at the Ready, and we saw Kim from the Knitting Posse and Kim and Jana, and I'm trying to remember who else we talked to. It was just like a little sort of appetizer for what was in store for the week to come. And I'm not gonna lie, I walked in there and I was definitely a little overwhelmed and nervous to talk to people, but everybody's just so nice. I'm gonna try not to use the word nice over and over again when I talk about this weekend, but I was just blown away at how kind and generous so many people were with their time and their conversation when there's so many places you could be. And most of the people that I talked to, you never felt like they wanted to be anywhere else but talking to you. And that is so special. And I think that that's one of the things that this event, or probably any Fibre event, which this is the only one I've been to, shows you is just what a wonderful and generous community we have as knitters and makers. So we got to our place in Kingston on Thursday night after our Pick Up Every Stitch detour, and our friends had dinner ready for us, and that was just the best. And we hung out and we sat and we knit and we watched When Harry Met Sally. We decided to watch a sort of knitting adjacent movie, and if you have seen it, the sweaters in there are 10 out of 10. So if you haven't seen it, I don't know, stop this, go watch that, and then come back, because what are you even doing? Just kidding. So we woke up Friday. I don't feel like we actually over rushed the entire weekend, which was also kind of nice. But we went to Woolen Affair. Brooklyn General Store hosted this event at the Hutton Brickyards in Kingston, and I think it was in Kingston. It was a beautiful space. It was right on the river, and she just did an incredible job. All of the tents looked, for the vendors, looked so good, and it was spread out, so we weren't crowded. There were very few tables where you kind of couldn't get to the table to see what was there. And again, it was just great to talk to so many people there and see people that we had met last year and greet them like they were old friends. They had really good food, live music, and we could just sit and listen to music. It was a little windy by the river, but it was worth it. And we stayed there probably from about 10 or so until 2 in the afternoon. And then we headed straight there to Indie Untangled, which was at Hits on the Hudson, which is a horse arena. And again, spread out, beautiful. The greens and blues around that area, the sky and the grass and everything was just the best. And right as we were walking in, we met Rachel and Renee from Table 10 podcast, and I had been talking to them online, and so it was so exciting to just right off the bat meet them in person. And if you haven't watched their podcast, definitely give them a watch. They are so much fun, and exactly like they are on screen, they are in person. They're just so funny and energetic and excited about everything that is happening in the world of knitting, and really just good representatives for our craft. And so I got to meet them, and I don't know, I'd like to call them my friends now, because I kept bumping into them all weekend and enjoyed talking to them so much. And I look forward to the next time that we can catch up. So Indy, we kind of rushed through the event because we were late for our shopping time. But again, it was just cool to see people, they had some live music there, and we sat and we ran into Kevin and Ray, and we ran into, who else? Kim again from, and Laura from the Knitting Posse. Kate was working with Michael at Upland Fibre Co., and so we saw her when we went through. And we ran into Viking Fibre and visited with, and Michael from Piece for Piece, who is just, oh my gosh, he's so nice. He gives the absolute best hugs. So if you need a hug, fly to Chicago, find Michael. He's lovely and sweet and kind. And I'm sorry that I'm name dropping all over the place, but I was totally fangirling over all of these people. And just to backtrack to Woolen Affair, I did have the opportunity to meet Alicia Plummer, the amazing knitwear designer, and I've tested for her several times and have loved every single test. Her sweaters just fit well. She runs a really nice test because she creates a community, and she's so warm and so understanding and receptive to feedback. So it was cool to get to meet her for the first time in person, and she too, just lovely, nice. We'll come back to nice. And she was great. So now I'm jumping back forward again. We left, what did we do? We left Indy. Oh, we found, actually, while we were at Hits on the Hudson, after our shopping time, we found, like, they have these little, like, rooms, I guess, that they rent, but on the back, they have back porches with Adirondack chairs. And so we sort of found some Adirondack chairs, and we sat and we knit and we people watched and we chatted and caught up and caught our breath. And those are some of my favorite times over the weekend, is the time where you're just chilling out and you're knitting, and the sweater watching was incredible. I am just so inspired by the creativity, the ingenuity, all of the things that sort of make us want to make. And I've come home so excited about trying new things and making new things. Day one, we wore our Knit Purl Repeat sweaters, and it's very funny. If you've been to Rhinebeck, you can relate to this, and if you haven't, store this in your memory bank for when you go. The first day is like the most frenetic, excited energy. It's really crowded. There's so many people. Everybody is greeting each other like they know one another, petting each other's sweaters, asking what pattern is this? Can I take your picture? I love your color combination. It's so fun. And I also thank you so much to anybody who came up to me and introduced yourself. And that was super cool too, to get to meet people that I have only met in the comments so far. And so, so that was kind of the energy on Saturday. It was like full on. People who had booths that they wanted to get to made a beeline and ran to those. In particular, the barn with Matterroot from Maine and Sawkill Fibers, and it's like one that's sort of in the back, and it's always really crowded in there. And I'm not gonna lie, I went in, got really overwhelmed, went out, but it was still just fun to, it's like looking at a beehive. Like if you've ever looked at a honeybee hive where they're all busy doing something, that's what that whole event feels like on Saturday. And I loved meeting everybody and talking to everybody, and it was exhausting and exhilarating. So I stayed there until mid-afternoon. My friends closed it down. I had sort of, I needed a little bit of a recharge, but also my high school best friend lives in Rhinebeck. She's lucky enough to be there all year round. And my other bestie is from Connecticut. And so she drove up for the night with her daughter. And my other friend from Rhinebeck, who she has 2 daughters, and we went out to walked around Rhinebeck a little bit and went to dinner together. And I had so much fun chatting with these amazing teenagers. They're 15 and 16. My friend's oldest daughter came. Her youngest was at a birthday party, so I missed her. But they are so smart and so kind and so interested. Neither of them are knitters, and I got so many good questions from them about knitting and fiber and sheep and patterns and all of it. And it was so much fun sharing that with them, and also just hearing about their worldview, and was so excited to get to spend just not enough time ever, but time with friends that I've known for 35 years. And they've, they're my family at this point. And so we had a good old-fashioned sleepover. Our Airbnb had a bunk room downstairs, and so the 3 of us stayed in the bunk room one night, and we had a really good time. And I'm so grateful that they were generous with their time. And so if you happen to be watching, thank you guys. So that was our first day. That was our first night at Rhinebeck. Got home exhausted, and then we got up for day 2 to do it again. And we woke up and we had our coffee, and we took our time getting to the fairgrounds. I think we got there around 11:30 for Sunday. And on Sunday, it is a totally different feel. It's a lot more locals and families, and people are just sort of walking around, checking out the tables and the barns and the animals. And it doesn't have that same kind of frenetic energy. And I love that balance of the two. So I am so happy that we get to go both days. I love them both for different reasons. And walking around, you get to sort of see some of the people who are, the knitting famous folks who were kind of mobbed on Saturday are just strolling around and having a chance to look for themselves on Sunday. And I completely fangirled when I met Squidney Knits, and I'll link all of these people's channels or Instagrams in the notes. If you don't follow her, she sews and knits in vintage, like 20s through 40s kind of clothing, and she completely commits. Like, her hair is always done and her lipstick is perfect, and she's just I have followed her for years, and I got super weird when I saw her. It was like I was seeing, an actual celebrity, and she couldn't have been any sweeter. She was just so nice to take the time and take a picture with us, and I just really was in awe of her. And of course, she looked perfect from head to toe. And let's see, who else did I get to meet? I got to meet Thea Coleman, and again, another one that I sort of was in awe of, and I was kind of excited. I always thought she was tall from the pictures of in her patterns, and she and I are almost the same size, and so that was kind of fun to see that we were looking eye to eye. But also I'm in awe of just how amazingly talented she is. I met the lady from the Charm City Unicorns, and again, they are couldn't be more different from me, but I loved them. They were so much fun. Their whole crowd of people that came to see them were all in complete like fluorescent and glitter and unicorn hats, and I just walked over and I was like, I want to be one of you guys. Can I hang out with you? And of course they said yes, and so that was nice too. So that was our overall kind of Rhinebeck experience, and I'm gonna share the stuff that I bought. I didn't do a good job of sorting them into days, which is why I didn't share as I go, but if you want to skip the acquisition part of it, I'm not generally a good shopper, and so I think I went into this event with zero plan. Last year I had a plan and I stuck to it, and I think maybe that's a better idea, but I had one pattern that I wanted to buy for, and I'll get to that. But other than that, I had zero plans. I just was like, I'm not buying anything. I'm just going for the experience. So you will see I totally lied to myself. And so one of the first purchases I made was at Woolen Affair, and this is from Golden Earth Pottery, and look at this little cute travel mug. And those who know me know I love my coffee, and I am so excited. Right now I actually have tea in it, and I'm not generally a tea drinker, but I just wanted to get a chance to use it, and I'd already caffeinated this morning, so I'm drinking the Trader Joe's fall tea, which is so good. And then, so like I said, most people made a beeline to the Matterroot booth on Saturday, and I actually went on Sunday also. So Saturday I bought this super cute t-shirt, and I love knitting related t-shirts for when I teach, especially in the summer when it's too hot to wear knitwear. I just want to make sure that people know, who I am, and that I love everything about knitting. So I have cute knitting t-shirts that I like to wear when I teach classes or lessons. And then on Sunday I bought this really cute drawstring bag, and it has a crochet granny square on it. And do I crochet? No. But was it the last bag that they had in the drawstring? Yes, it was. Okay. At Woolen Affair, I think that's where I did most of my damage. I bought these enamel buttons, and I don't know if the light will catch, that Bertie Parker made, and she is also just lovely and so nice. And she said she had made these like 8 or 9 years ago and then moved and lost them and just found them. So they're from the vault, and I can't wait to put these on something soon. Just dropping things down. I bought this fiber from Amy Scher's booth at Woolen Affair. If you're not following Amy, she's got the best tutorials for sweater fits on Instagram, so definitely give her a follow. I've learned so much from her. But this is 62.5% Polworth, 37.5% wool and viscose nep blend. So I think all of the white that you see is the Polworth, and then the streamy colors that go through it are the wool and viscose blend. So I'm excited to see how this spins up. But I just was mesmerized by the color, and there was someone there spinning that exact one while I was shopping, and I got to see how it looked, and it's beautiful. This I purchased as a gift from Hello Bargello, and their stuff is so much fun. It's like a plastic mesh that you sew in, and they give you the patterns to do. And the person that I bought this for said she used to do Bargello way back in the day, and I guess it was popular in the 70s and 80s, and as you can sort of tell by the fabric, hopefully the shininess doesn't, you can see that. But they were also so nice in their booth, and I'm excited to gift this. And it comes with instructions and all of that. These I purchased in the town of Rhinebeck, and just I'm a sucker for a good card, and so look at how cute these are. the whole town, you could tell, is just really into the event, and they're very generous with their, with the crowds, and they don't seem particularly annoyed by how busy everything is. And so even the locals were just really friendly. I headed pretty quickly over to the book area, and I was very excited to get this book from Earthtones girl. And Denise has been definitely sort of an online mentor of mine when I was learning to knit socks, and her shadow wrap heel kind of changed the game for me because I can knit it. It's really seamless, and I can knit it from memory. And if you are thinking about becoming a sock knitter, I can't recommend this book enough. It's really great, and she's so great. If you have watched her YouTube, you know she's just like, I don't know, she's like a boost of oxytocin. Like, she just is calming and kind, and her voice is set. I don't know, she's great. This is some lavender lotion that I bought from Maggie's farm, and it's called Shepherd's Friend, and it smells like just amazing. Even though my kids don't like lavender, I love lavender so much. And it's great for winter knitting hands because it goes on kind of greasy, but it soaks in really fast, and has lanolin in it. And so I recommend that. That's going to live in my knitting bag. At Woolen Affair, I purchased these covered buttons from Of June, and they had a lot of really cute fabric items. I don't know, can you see that? Hopefully the light's not too terrible. And I was thinking about switching the buttons out on my Olga cardigan for these. I thought they would add kind of a fun little sort of pop to my Olga. So I may, if I can get up the energy to do that. We are getting to the end of my acquisitions, so stay with me. This I also purchased at Woolen Affair, and this is a DK alpaca single that I bought from Stone Cellar Dye Works, and they were just also, I mean, everyone's so nice. And this is 40% alpaca, 40% merino, and 20% silk. I wanted to make the Froya sweater, which I'll put a picture of right here. It sort of looks like a grown-up Rory Gilmore cabled sweater, and she made it in a mohair and worsted combination, and I definitely wanted the halo, but I've been sort of staying away from mohair these days. And I'm going to hold this double with a fingering, and I'm either going to use some Brooklyn Tweed Lodge that I have, or I have a fingering weight MCN that I might use, but I'm hoping the Lodge will work because it has a little bit more body to it. So we'll see how that goes, but this is so soft and so just squishy, and I don't know if you can see the halo there. But yeah, and they had beautiful colors too, but I just had white in my head. And then the last place that I bought anything from was Flora and Fauna Farm, and they're local to the Hudson Valley, and they do this cool thing where they raise their sheep, they shear them, and then they make the yarn from that sheep, and each one is named for the name of the sheep. And I love sort of knowing where it came from, and their colors are beautiful. So I bought these two with a hat in mind, and this is sport weight. I haven't found a pattern yet. If you have, it's sort of I think it could be a fingering too, but if you have a recommendation for a good color work sport fingering or sport weight hat, I am open to that. And I saw a sweater in these colors like right before I went to their booth, and clearly I was influenced, and I'm excited about that because that's not my normal sort of color work, color palette. I could probably also do a shawl with that too. So if you have something in mind, I would welcome the recommendation. And then as I was walking out, I was talking the lady's ear off, and I happened to look down, and she had a basket kind of tucked under something. And I said, "Oh, what's that?" And I went and I squished it, and it was super soft. And she said, "Oh, that's actually my clearance from last year." This is from Zephyr. And she said, "That's really marked down, so take a look." And she had a sweater's quantity of this beautiful sport weight, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, might be able to use for that Froya held with the alpaca. And I was able to get a sweater quantity of this for $68. So I almost fell over. And I felt like I won Rhinebeck when I found these. So that was my last purchase. And we left the festival and we went to this beautiful farm in Red Hook and had apple cider and took a little walk and actually picked some apples off a tree, which I loved doing back when I lived up in New York. So it sort of, I picked 2 apples and it satisfied my apple picking desire, and I'm thrilled that I did it. But if you've skipped to this section, welcome, glad you're here. If you've been watching with me, thank you for sticking with me this whole time. I wanted to just share what I've been doing, which is not a ton of knitting, to be honest. It's funny to go away on a knitting weekend and not get a lot of knitting done, but that's kind of what happened. I was so tired by the time we got back to the house and just didn't have the energy to do a whole lot more than just full on stockinette stitch. So like I said, this will be kind of short. I do have a finished object in addition to my poppy tee. I finished these Woolens and Nosh vanilla socks, and you'll see there's my shadow wrapped heel. And so I love these. I actually wore them this weekend and I finished them on the plane on the way there. So Woolens and Nosh is one of my favorite sock yarns. It's just the right blend, it's the right level of twist, and they wear really well. So now on to works in progress, and this I cast on since I recorded last. I wanted a sock to sort of walk around the festival with, and so I cast on these little sheepy socks. I if you can see them, there they are. And I used the sheep from the Woolen Affair friendship cuff pattern, and then I just turned it upside down, started with the sky, went to the sheep, and now I'm just doing the pasture as the sock. So these have been super fun, and I'm doing this in Knit Picks Stroll, which is not my favorite sock yarn to work with, but I love the colors. They have just a huge palette of colors. They're affordable, and so they're fun for colorwork socks. I'm hoping to find another base that I like better that's all kind of fits the same bill. I just ordered some Filcolana Arwetta, I think it's called, that a lot of the European knitters seem to use. We don't have it readily available in the States, but found one shop, and so I ordered a bunch just to see how it goes. I'll report back when I get it, but they have a ton of colors in that too. I think last time I had the swatch for this Miel sweater. It's inside out. There we go. This is by Claudia Quintanilla from Unit Toronto. And so I just have the neck done now, and I'm on the raglan increases. It's got a ribbed, like a rib along the shoulder where the raglan increases are. So I'm looking forward to this squishy, delightful, fuzzy sweater, but hopefully next time I'll have a little more to show you. And then I'm making that with Cirro from the Fibre Co. And it's it's like a sport to DK weight alpaca, silk, and wool blend, and I've really loved it. And then the last one, whoops, I'm dropping things now. The last one is an update on my Jaunty, which I got still haven't turned around yet. And I think Michael and Kevin are both on their seconds. And so I feel inadequate. Just kidding. But it's just wanted to show you the progress based on how it looks. And my friends are tired of me going, I think I like it. I might like it. Maybe I like it, you know. But it's been really just, I love the yarn. I really do. I've come to really love the yarn. And I have a system for the jaunty. If you're making it, I figured I would share it. I have a marker on the side where you just knit. It's a half fisherman's rib. So on the just knit side, I have a marker. And then on the rows that I'm trying to keep track of for the increases, it's an 8-row repeat and you increase on the 8th row. I put a marker in the first stitch for of the knit one below row every time, 1, 2, 3, and then I increase the next time, don't put a marker, and then the next time when I'm doing the next knit one below, I move up the markers and start again. I start from the top, the most recent marker, so that I have a big space so that I can see it. So hopefully I'm explaining that well, but this has worked for me to keep track of my increases so I don't have to use a row counter or anything. I think I'm getting kind of close to the turnaround, but I'm not quite there yet. So hopefully, again, next time I'll have a little more to report. What else do I have? I think that's it. I didn't really make any progress on my cinnamon and bourbon sweater because I didn't want to carry it with me because it's bigger now. And I'm going to pick that back up. But I think that does it. And Mary Poppins has been very cooperative, and so has Sawyer, which is nice. Oh, I did want to recommend another murder mystery for you. This one's so funny, and a good, I wouldn't say it's a mystery because you kind of know what's happening the whole way, but it falls into that cozy mystery kind of genre. But it's called Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes, and the audiobook is narrated by Neil Patrick Harris and someone else, but it's really like listening to audio theater, and the book it's funny and engaging, and I couldn't put it down. My family was like, why do you have your headphones in all day long? And it's because I was listening to that. So I think that kind of covers what I have to share today. It's a little longer than I intended, but hopefully you enjoyed my Rhinebeck recap, and I'll look forward to getting back to a regular episode in the next few weeks. Our family has kind of a busy next few weeks, and with Halloween coming and fall concerts and all of those kind of things coming up. So I will try to record when we have a little bit of downtime. But again, just wanted to thank you so much for watching, for commenting, for reaching out on Instagram. Again, if you have recommendations for patterns for my flora and fauna yarn. Oh, and the other one I wanted to reach out to you guys about is I did do some investigating on e-spinners while I was at Rhinebeck. I'm not ready to sort of take the plunge yet, but I did do some investigating, and if you have sort of strong feelings about an e-spinner, I would love to hear about that in the comments also, to help with my decision-making process if I decide to sort of move forward with that. I love my manual wheel. I spin on a Lendrum DT, and it's I find the sort of analogness of it really wonderful, but I think an e-spinner would be great for plying and also for travel. So yeah, so if you have any thoughts on that. And again, thank you so much for visiting Chapel Hill with me, and maybe next time I record, you'll see a little more color change, and I'll have a little more finished in my projects. But thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great few weeks. Bye.